Hello, welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. And on screen we've got a very unusual puzzle in the sense that it's been recommended to me by 4 different people in the last 48 hours. Now that's very, very unusual. Often we get requests to cover puzzles by people like Fistamafel, but this is by a new constructor to the channel, and a constructor I haven't heard before, whose spxtr is the pseudonym. And spxtr actually emailed me this morning as well, so I hope I'm not revealing too much by saying spxtr's real name is Joe. Anyway, we're going to cover this today, and there's 2 reasons I want to do this puzzle, apart from it being recommended so many times. The first is that a lot of the puzzles we do on the channel are pretty monstrously difficult, and sometimes it's nice to do something that's a little bit more straightforward, and the testing reports I've had back on this, I've only had 2 testing reports back, indicate that it's actually quite approachable. So if you are new to the channel, maybe you've not completed too many puzzles that we've covered, this is definitely one I think worthy of your attention. It should be quite approachable. Now the other reason I wanted to cover this is the rule set of this puzzle is very familiar to me at the moment, and that is because next week we are hoping to release our 5th app. Now it's titled Miracle Sudoku. Obviously that's because the puzzles in it were inspired by the Miracle Sudoku puzzle created by Mitchell Lee, and I'm not sure how many of you have seen that video, but basically it's a video that starts off with, as usual, me suspecting I'm being pranked. There's a Sudoku grid with only 2 given digits in it, and by the end of the video I'm sort of in a state of complete awe and wonderment that the puzzle could solve uniquely. Basically what we've done is, a key part of that Miracle Sudoku puzzle was, one of the rules was a non-consecutive rule. So that's a rule that says, for example, if you have a 3 in that square, you couldn't have a 2 or a 4 in the cells to the north, south, east and west of that cell, because they would be consecutive with 3 and touching it orthogonally, and that would not be allowed. So what we've done is we've taken that constraint and we've built it into a whole load of puzzle types. So we've taken basically what we've done is we've built it into the puzzle types of the apps we've already released. So because people are familiar with sandwich Sudoku, we've done some sandwich Sudokus using the non-consecutive constraint. We've done some thermometer Sudokus using non-consecutive, and we've done chess Sudokus doing non-consecutive. And so we've created, as usual, what I hope will be a very popular set of puzzles, and that I'm hoping at the end of next week will be available for you guys to buy. Now, what else do I want to say? Oh, yeah. Yesterday I recommended Scott Strosahl's compass puzzle. Now, that's done 2 things. Firstly, those of you who have solved it have agreed that it really is a beautiful little puzzle. But the other thing is that some of you have tried it and become very frustrated with it because you couldn't do it. And I'm not surprised. If you've not done compass puzzles before, there is a bit of there is a method to approaching them. And so what we've done is we've uploaded a short video today on Patreon. So if you're a patron of the channel and you were stuck on Scott's puzzle, then if you go over there, you'll find a video that will explain how to do it. So I hope that's interesting. Now let me talk about spxtr's rule set. Now what have we got? We've got normal Sudoku rules, we've got non-consecutive rules, so I've already been through what that means. We've got sandwich rules, so these clues outside the grid are basically telling us the sum of the cells sandwiched between the 1 and the 9 in their row or column. So in this row, let's imagine that there was a 1 here. Oh, why is that not working? A 1 here and a 9 here. That would mean these 4 cells here have to sum up to 21. If, on the other hand, there was a 9 here and a 1 there, I mean, this is impossible, but let's just imagine it was true, that would say that these 6 cells had to sum up to 21. So that's how the sandwich works. And then we've got some killer cages. Now the killer cages are normal. What we're saying here is these 4 cells have to add up to 14, and as usual you can't repeat a digit in a killer cage. So in this 21 cage here, it wouldn't be possible for this to be a 5 and this to be a 5, because you would repeat the 5 in the cage, and that's all there is. So apart from that, just beholds me to say, if you want to have a go at the puzzle, click on the link under the video as usual. And with that, I get to have a go. Let's get cracking. And right, well, I'm going to start with the 35 clue because that sort of is shouting at me a bit. If you see a 35 clue in a sandwich Sudoku, you know that the 1 and the 9 have to be at the top and the bottom of that row or column. And the reason is because 1 and 9 add up to 10, and because the whole of the column adds up to 45, because that's what we get if we add the numbers from 1 to 9, then the maximum number I could possibly have between the 1 and the 9 would be the number 35, obviously 45 minus 10. So, in fact, whenever you see a 35, you can put the 1s and the 9s in the edge, and that is also nice. Look, we've got a 14 cage in the column, so we can't use 5 and 9 in there, so that's going to be 6 and 8. And that, can we get any more out of that, or do we have to move on to this clue? Let us have a quick think. Yes, we can actually. Look, let's have a look at the 14 cage, because there is something I know about 14 cages if they don't have a 1 in them. So if this square is a 1, how do we get to 14 in 4 cells? Well, there is a way, but it's a very defined way. It has to be 2, 3, 4 and 5. And that, in a non-consecutive puzzle, is a problem. Because how can I put a 3 in this cage such that it doesn't touch a 2 or a 4 orthogonally? Well, the answer to that is you can't. Because although I can put 2 or 4 in that square, the other one, there'll have to be a 4 in one of those two. It will touch the 3, and that breaks the rules. So we can say this simply cannot be a 1, because we can't make the 14 cage work with the rule set. So we can place the 9 and the 1 there. Now actually, right, this is now making me think about the 8 as well. Because if we put an 8 in a 14 cage, again we can do that, but only with a 1, 2 and a 3. So if we make those 1, 2, 3 and 8, this time the question will be, where do we put the 2? So let's try it. Let's put a 2 there, and hopefully you can see there's a problem with the 1 and the 3. I need to put the 1 and the 3 in the cage, and I can't hide them both from the 2. So in fact this 8 here must be up there. Oh, whoopsie. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to pencil mark it like that. One thing I've found in creating and testing non-consecutive puzzles is that I am absolutely terrible at picking up all of the implications of them. I miss so many simple deductions, so I hope I'm not going to annoy you guys today by doing that in this video. Look, we've got 21 here now, so this is interesting to me because of the 13 cage. Now in fact this 8 is important here. Let's have a look at row 1, because if I know those squares add to 13, but I need a sandwich total of 21, then I need 8 more in some combination of these. Well, can't obviously come to this cell as well. So I've either got 2 cells adding to 8, or I've got 1 cell adding to 8. Well, because there's an 8 already in the row, I can't put an 8 here. 13 plus 8 would give me 21, but obviously the 8 would be repeated in the row, so that doesn't work. So this must be a 2-cell combination making 8, which means that this is a 1. Now, okay, well now we can get the. Oh, in fact, this 6 is going to move up there as well. Yeah, because if we do some arithmetic on row 1 of the grid, we now know those 5 cells add to 21. 21 plus 1 plus 9 is 31. So those 2 squares have to add up to 14. One of them's an 8, so the other one is a 6. And look, 9 can't be next to 8. So this is a 6, this is an 8. There's a 1 in the 14 cage. In fact, look, we've got 14 plus 23. That's 37. Now the whole box will add to 45. So these 2 squares have got to add up to 8 without using 6 and without using 1. So these are 3 and 5. And these squares are 2, 4 and 7. Now, yeah, this comes up a lot in non-consecutive puzzles. Look at this square. It's going to be next to a 6 or an 8, so there's no way it can be a 7. So let's remove 7 as an option. And let's put in the options here, 1, 2, 4 and 7 into this 14 cage. So this can't be a 7 because it would be next to an 8. 4 can't live on the left hand side of the 14 cage because it will be next to a 3 or a 5, both of which it would be consecutive with. 7 can't live at the top, it would be next to a 6. I'm not going to confidently say there's nothing else I can do there, because there almost certainly is. I always mess these up, but anyway, we've done a bit of tidying up in box 3. And we know these two squares have got to add up to 8, and they can't be 1, 7 or 2, 6. So these are 3 and 5. So these squares are 2, 4 and 7 again. So the 4 can't go there because it would be next to a 3 or a 5 with which it would be consecutive. And yeah, we can continue the logic. Let's have a look here. So we can do maths on this cage. We've got 25 plus 9. So that's 34. These have to add up to 11 without using 3, 8 or 5, 6 or 2, 9, because 9 has to be part of... 9 creates the sandwich. And this is a 20 clue, so the 9 can't be in these two squares. So actually, this has to be 4, 7, which is quite nice. Doesn't give me anything, but it's still a good deduction. So these squares have got to be 2, 6, 8, and 9. So we've got to keep the 8 and the 9 apart. So the only way... So the 8 and the 9 are going to have to live on the diagonals here. Now I'm certain there's going to be something else I can deduce from this. What is it? I'm so bad at these puzzles. I don't know. Let's move on before I embarrass myself further. So we've got 20 here. Right, we can definitely do quite a lot of maths on this column, look, because we've got 12 up there plus 23, so these two squares have got to add up to 10 without using 1, 9, 4, 6 or 3, 7. So these squares at the bottom are 2 and 8. Oh, now also, where does the 9 go? This is nice. So where does the 9 go in this column? Because we've got 11 of our 20 sandwich total, so we know we can't have a single 9 here to make up 20, because then I'd have to repeat the 9 in the column, because 9 has to form the crusts of the sandwich. So we know it's at least a 2 cell, 2 more cells to add up to 9. Now it can't be 3, because if it's 3 without using a 1, the only way of making 3 cells add to 9 is with 2, 3 and 4, and we'll repeat the 4 and the 2 in the column. So actually this is a 2 cell domino that adds to 9, and that is a 9 there. And if this is a 2 cell domino that can't be 4, 5, 2, 7 or 1, 8, it is 3 and 6. Oops, 3 and 6. Which means that square must be a 5 to complete the column. Now, no, is that all I get from this? I'm desperately trying to spot how to use this non-consecutive constraint. How do I use it? I'm not sure. Let's continue with the maths then. So we've got 10, 15 plus 20, that's 35. These two have to add up to 10. Oh, now, that's interesting, not for this domino, but for this domino. If these two add to 10, the 23, these two squares have to add up to 13. Now, they can't be 4, 9, and they can't be 6, 7. So these two squares now, haha, these are 5 and 8. Now that can't be an 8 because it's next to a 9. So there we go. 5, 8, 8, 8, 6 over here. The 6 bounces back over here. This 8 locks an 8 over onto the right hand side of this one, so we know neither of these can now be a 9 or it will be consecutive. So the 9 is over here. 9 must be in one of those 3 cells. The 5 fixes the 5 and the 3 at the top. So 3, 3, there's got to be a 3 down here as well. This 3, okay, so the 3 rules the 2 out from that square. Whoops, rules the 2 out. The 5 rules the 6 out. And yeah, I know I'm going slowly here. I am doing that absolutely deliberately because I'm trying so hard not to miss these non-consecutive constraints. Now, so if this is 8, this will be 9. If this is 8, this will be 9. This is 5. 6 here, so that gives me the 4 and the 7. Look, again, just because I can't put a 7 next to a 6. Right, so the 4 now gets fixed over there. Look, because of the 3, 5, the 4 must be up there. So 7 is... Okay, now, can we go any further? Yes, we can, because this 7 is ruling a 6 out from that square. This becomes a 9, which now I can't put the 8 next to it, so the 8 goes in the corner, which gives me the 2, gives me the 6. This always happens with these puzzles. You sort of think, oh, well, there can't be anything more I can do, and then you study it a bit longer and you find, oh, actually, there was a load more I can do. And that's going to happen here as well, isn't it? So how do I... The 1 can't be next to the 2, so that's a 7 and that's a 2. 7's got to live on the right-hand side of box 6. Now, 2, where does 2 go in box 4 now? It's got to go there. Now that should be enormous, because all of a sudden, 1, 4 and 7 into those squares, very good score in snooker. World Championship going on at the moment. I hope you're all studying it intently. The 4 can't go there because it would be next to a 5. These two had to sum up to 10, didn't they? So, so in fact that's, oh, whoopsie. This square here has to be a 3 or a 9. 4 can't go next to the 5 here, the 7 can't go next to the 8, and the 1 can't go next to the 2. And this 8 means that can't be a 7 either. So that is a 4, that's a 1, that's a 7. So 7 doesn't go here, 8 doesn't go here. Oh, 6s now. These 6s lock a 6 into one of those. Well, the 6 can't go next to the 7 either. So there is a somewhat odd 6-8 pair in box 5 of the grid. Now, can we use that to our advantage? I'm sure we can, I just can't see quite how to do it. Okay. So what do I need? I need to put 1, 2, 3 and 4 into this row. So this has to be a 2. Oh, now this is cool. This is cool. Look at the 1 here. This square has to be a 2, 3 or a 4 just by Sudoku. But look, we can't put a 3 here because it will be next to a 2 or a 4. So eliminating the 3 from that square gives us a 2, 4 pair in the row. And now where does the 3 go? The 3 still can't go in this box. It can't go in that square. So the 3 must go here. And this must be a 1. which can't be next to a 2. It is gorgeous. 4, 2. Now we can do a bit more Sudoku. Look at the 2 in the 21 cage. Well, it rules a 2 out of all of those 4 squares. There's no option for 2 in these 3 squares, and we need to put a 2 somewhere in row 7 of the grid. 2 here rules out that square. This is a 2. Oh, I can nearly do maths on this box. Look, I've got... Oh, I can do maths, in fact. I've got 12 plus 22. Well, that's 34. Plus 2 is 36, so 9 here. That looks very good, actually. 9 here fixes the 3. We know these 2 add up to 10. That makes that a 7. 3 doesn't live in here. So these squares here should be 6 and 9. 6 and 9 and 1 and 4 do add up to 20, so that is good. Okay, now presumably I'm missing a whole... Oh, the 7 shifts that one, that's a 4, that's a 7. The 1 fixes the 1 and the 4. These 3 squares are now gettable, aren't they? They should be 1, 6 and 8. Now, oh, we don't get any restriction on where they go. I thought one of these cells would give me something, but no. Okay, so we've got to think again. Where is... So we've actually nearly used all of the extra information. Let's have a look at this 22 cage. We need 3, 5, 6 and 8 in there. So let's just pencil mark it and see what we can eliminate. We can eliminate 6 from this side and 8 from this side. And then we can eliminate 8 here because it would be next to a 7. And we can eliminate 3 here because it would be next to a 2. So that square is a 5, which might be important because a 5 can't go next to a 6. So the 6 has to move to the diagonal square, which creates the rest of it. And that fixes over here. It's so surprising. So this is brilliant now, although I've no idea how we're going to... In fact, I'm a bit worried all of a sudden because we're going to have the central 3 columns to fill without... there's nothing really that points in at them, so that is quite surprising. But anyway, let's carry on. 5 can't go here. These squares have got to be 3 and 9, and we can't put a 9 next to the 8. So 9 and 3 must go like this. These squares are a 5, 7 pair, and that also is a bit odd. Unless I'm missing something, that is not resolvable. I'm getting worried I might have made an error here. 3, 5 and 7 along the bottom. Again, nothing here is telling me which way round that goes. I suppose that can't be a 3. These squares have got to be 2, 4 and 9. Okay. Wow. Well, let's hope we get something out of one of these. I know I'm going to have missed one of these non-consecutives. I'm so sorry. This has got to be 1, 5, 7 and 9. Let's have a look at that, see if we can get anything. Yeah, look, that can't be next to a 5. This can't... Oh, this 8. So that can't be next to a 7 or a 9. So this is 1 or 5. Not sure. That felt like it was important, but it's not quite. Let's try this one. 2, 4, 5 and 7. Oh yes, this might be better because this square, look, it's next to a 3. So this becomes a 5 or a 7. This square is next to a 6, so that can't be a 5 or a 7. Ah, now 5, 7 pair in this column, is that... Yes, that is good because that fixes that one as a 2. The 2 bounces back down here. This can't be 7 anymore. Oh, that felt so important, but maybe we'll get... Effectively 5 is now eliminated from both of these squares, so maybe there'll be something decent along these lines. We've got 1, 3, what's that? 1, 3, 5 and 9? 3, 5 and 9. So this can't be 5. And it can't be 9 because of the 8. And it can't be 3 because of the 3. So that's a 1. This is a 9. And perhaps this is how we're going to crack the puzzle, because that gives us a 4 down here. It's... This square now has got to be a 6 or an 8. And in fact, if we look at the column, this square has to be, a 6 or an 8. But that is possible. So do we get anything extra from these extra digits that we've just figured out? The 9 isn't very helpful. The 1 isn't very helpful because we already can't put a 2 next to it. Right, we've got one more row. Oh no, we've got this one as well, sorry. I've got to complete this one. Let's finish this one off. 3, 5 and 9. So, 3, 5, 9, and we've got... I don't know, I can't see what it is. It might be there, but I'm not seeing what it is. So 3, 5, 6, 8 into these squares. Oh dear. So I'm clearly missing something. So I've got my 5, 7 pair here. I've got my 6, 8. The 4 fixes the 5 and the 7. I'm so bad at these puzzles. 7, 5. That 5 is huge because it gives me a 1 and a 7. It fixes the 7, 5 over here. The 1 can't be next to a 2, so that gives me a 4. 4, 7. And presumably this square now has to be a 2 because it can't be a 4, 5 or a 7. The 2 fixes the 2 and the 9. Now we can't place an 8 in this square. We can't place a 3 in this square because it would be next to a 2. So that becomes a 5. This has to be a 3. The 5 has an impact on this square. The 1 can't go here. It will be next to a 2. So there's a 6, 8 pair here. So this square becomes a 3, 5. That eliminates 3, 5 from this square. Now, sometime soon, this is going to, yeah, in fact, look, the 5 here fixes this. 3, 3, 5, 9, 5. 5 fixes that this has to be an 8, not a 6. 8, 6, 1, 6, 8. And it was a bit of a struggle to finish, but I think that's how to solve the puzzle. Yes, beautiful puzzle. Really enjoyed it. And I hope you guys did too. And we'll be back later with another edition. Cracking the Cryptic.